Welcome new and old friends. My name is 242, and tonight 42 got us 3 chilling tales this spooky, scary Sunday. Remember, if you want to help this channel, like, subscribe, and share. Turn off your lights, make sure your doors and windows are locked. Things are about to get spooky. The news said you only kill blondes, so please let me go. He pulled the hair bleach kit out of his work bag and said,
I can't let you go. I have to make you perfect.
A story I wrote a long time ago by Something Clever User. It's amazing what you can remember, from the embarrassing things that you suddenly remember in the middle of the night, or those moments that just happen to stick out like bad memories that you can't forget. My bad memory keeps coming back to me. I was 18 when I stumbled across a dead body. It was one of those moments that your mind doesn't fully process what you're seeing until later. She was around the same age as me. The news said the local coroner ruled her death accidental. She had been found at the bottom of a cliff, so it was thought that she had tripped and fallen 100 feet to her death. Her body was covered with cuts and bruises, which were consistent with such a fall. How the coroner missed the beating she received beforehand is still a mystery to me. The bruises she had were not just from the fall. It was an open and shut case. Her friends and family mourned her death, and they shared their grief. Her parents lobbied to put a fence around the cliff so no one else could suffer the same fate. They shared the picture of their daughter to put a face on the issue. She had long blonde hair, big blue eyes. In the pictures they showed, she was wearing the same sunflower dress she had been found in. I stumbled across the newspaper later. They showed the picture of the girl who had fallen. It was the same picture that I had seen before. I noticed her features, and they resembled mine. Same face, and as I looked down, with the exact same dress. I asked a passing woman to see if she had any information regarding the girl who had died. Nothing. It was as if I didn't exist. The more I asked the people, the more I was constantly ignored. I passed by a window and saw my reflection. Cuts and bruises covered my body. My hair was covered in dirt and my sunflower dress was torn. Suddenly, everything became dark. I realized that I was in a coffin and it was slowly being lowered into the grave. It was me that had been murdered. I was the girl in the picture, and I still have no clue how I died. A single tear fell down her cheek as she slowly walked down the aisle. Several bags of nuts had bursted open on the shelf, and she had to find a store attendant before her throat closed fully. She Was Born in Love with Me by Human Gravy, narrated by As the Raven Dreams.
There was never a doubt in Elisa's mind that we were meant to be together. We met at an age where love was an afterthought to raging hormones and teenage immaturities. Never once did we stray the path from each other, as most adolescent romances do. Our commitment was unbreakable, and our passion an unquenchable desire. It was no surprise to anyone we married as soon as we could. We said our vows before God, our family, and friends, and swore to uphold an unconditional and everlasting union. At the reception, We delighted in dances, drinks, and dining we would soon not forget. As we laid in bed together, after consummating our marriage, Elise whispered into my ear, "I was born in love with you," and kissed me as deeply and powerfully as any woman could ever kiss a man. Our marital bliss would not last long. Our downfall began with Elise's night terrors. She would awaken screaming and flailing against invisible assailants. I'd hold her close, whispering sweet, comforting words into her ears, calming her nerves and easing her mind. Once in a tranquil state, she said she could not remember them when questioned about her dreams. Being with someone for so long, you learn to recognize their tics and talks. Elise lied to me. As those terrors intensified and persisted, her ability to awaken from them waned. Her screams turned to unintelligible words. I'd soon learned that they were in languages Elise couldn't know: Chinese, Russian, German, Latin, Hindi, Zulu, Arabic. In her somnambulist state, she scratched and clawed, often awakening me with vicious thrashes. She screeched and howled like an animal caught in a trap. With no other recourse, the only solution was to subdue her by tightly wrapping her beneath the blanket of our bed until she awakened. Medical experts offered no help. In the medical field's infinite lack of wisdom, several purported doctors claimed an array of different psychological and physiological conditions. We decided to stop going to them once commitment was suggested. Elise was my lover, not some lunatic. It wasn't going to happen. As time continued, Elise slept less and less. Dark circles of purple and black made permanent fixtures under her eyes. The hair of ebony I had run my fingers through since we were children, it fell out in clumps. The energetic woman I'd been forever in love with withered away before my eyes. In her final days, Elise confessed to me the knowledge of a terrible secret. She admitted to lying about her nightmares. These were vivid memories of our previous lives together throughout the centuries as humans and other beings alike. Our bond never lasted, as we were abominations to the world's natural cycle of life and death. I, too, would soon perish in such a way. Though this news brought me to great terror, her last words brought comfort. In death and in life anew, we would always find each other again, for she would always be born in love with me.
A single tear fell down her cheek as she slowly walked down the aisle. "Bidding starts at 100,000, said the man with the microphone. Open Your Eyes by As the Raven Dreams. If I just open my eyes, I know that everything will be back to normal. There will be nothing out of the ordinary in the room. Everything will be as it should be, and I will have no reason to feel the fear whatsoever. In fact, I'll probably laugh at myself when I realize that everything was in my head, and I was upset for no reason whatsoever. I'll pull my eyelids open, and the only thing I'll see in front of me is empty space, filled with darkness of the night and some furniture. I'll see the ceiling, complete with various dust and cobwebs that line the corners. Then I'll see the ceiling fan spinning slowly on the lowest setting. If I look over, I'll simply see my wife sleeping comfortably. Perhaps I'll see the cat on the windowsill looking out at the night and a few car lights as they reflect off the glass pane. But I'll know that there's nothing else, right? There's only going to be normal motion of the night and nothing else. I have to tell myself that there'll be nothing else. In fact, that crash noise that I thought I heard a few minutes ago, it was simply in my mind, nothing more than a byproduct of an overactive imagination and eating spicy food too late in the evening, a nightmare that, in the end, will mean so very little to my life. I may remember it in the morning for a few minutes, and maybe it will cause me a bit of anxiety, but I'll laugh it off and it will turn out to be irrelevant in the long run. The same goes for the stepping sounds I thought I heard. Those heavy thuds that seemed to echo throughout the hallway immediately after the crashing noise. They were nothing at all. They may have sounded like they were coming from the feet of a very large and heavy creature, but it was just my brain making things up as it went along. It's hilarious how we can scare ourselves with our own imaginations, huh? Then, when I heard the shrieking and hissing of my angry cat, I would think he was most likely just being the guard of the house like he pretends to be. There must have been something outside the sliding glass window that angered him. He's always been one to jump at shadows. More likely, there was another cat, a feral one that likes to roam the neighborhood, that had walked up to the back porch and caught his eye. He felt the need to make as much aggressive sound as his tiny frame will allow. He just wants to protect his domain and his family, and I can commend him for that. Maybe in the morning I'll give him some treats for being such a good cat. Yeah, that's what I'll do. That scream that my wife let out a few moments ago was certainly nothing more than her waking up for one of her night terrors. It might have been one of the more intense ones, as her scream sounded like she was in pain, and she screamed more than once. Really, though, it's not the first time that she's had these overwhelming nightmares. Last week alone, she woke up twice in the middle of the night to them. Of course, those were more like gasps and screams, but just tells me that they are, in fact, getting worse. I informed her that she needs to see her doctor and get a sleep aid, something to help her calm her mind through the night, but she still hasn't made the appointment. I suppose I'll have to have the conversation with her again in the morning, and hope she listens this time. She must have been struggling to get back to sleep when she woke up, because I'm thinking that she must have turned on the TV to occupy her mind. I'm normally fine with this, but I wish that she wouldn't have chosen to watch whatever gory horror movie was playing at the time. And I need to talk to her about what volume is acceptable when the others are trying to sleep. The bone-crunching sound followed by the sound of tearing flesh and entrails was incredibly disturbing, and I can't imagine that paying such close attention to something that violent in the middle of the night would help your night terrors. In fact, I would think it would do the opposite. Just another conversation that we'll have to have. There must be something wrong with the heater. It seems like it's kicking on, but it's much too warm in here for that. Maybe the thermostat is broken again. Maybe it needs a new battery or something. On top of that, the blower motor appears to be failing as the air coming out is a strange rhythmic burst instead of a constant stream. The fact that it almost feels like warm breath of some sort of large creature would be concerning if I didn't have a logical explanation. I would say that I almost need to clean out the ducts and vents. It almost smells like a mouse has nestled up and died somewhere in the system. The scent is incredibly unpleasant, but again, there's a reasonable explanation for it, and I'll have to wait until morning. I really don't think I should get out of bed right now and start fixing various problems in the house. And then there's that low gargling sound that almost reminds me of a low growl. I guess that I need to really be better about the upkeep of our house. That has to be the pipes that are struggling to push water or something simple like that. Sure, the sound is usually not so deep and not so loud. It almost sounds like it's right next to my face, but that's not possible. It has to be that pipe is in really bad condition, that's all. Yeah, that's all. And that slightly damp feeling on my face, that pipe must be leaking in the ceiling. That's really not good. I suppose I should be really concerned about the state of things if the drip is coming down through the ceiling and dripping onto my face. The water is also warm, so at least I know which pipe it likely is. Yeah, it's just the pipes, nothing more. See? All of it makes sense. All of it is rational. The sounds, the screaming, the feelings, they all have perfectly logical and reasonable explanations to them. I just had a weird dream. The cat is overly protective. My wife needs to see her doctor about her night terrors. And I need to get better about maintaining the upkeep of our place. This is absolutely all that is happening. It all makes perfect sense, and when I open my eyes, everything will be normal and there'll be nothing to be afraid of. I just need to open my eyes, take a deep breath, and calm down. And I'll do so as soon as I can think of a good, logical explanation for the claw that is poking at my chest.
Captain's log, day 75. The sea is an odd color today, as if God himself spilled ink from his mighty quill beneath its surface. Captain's log, day 79. The eyes, peering from the depths, have me convinced that this is no work of God.
We watched from a distance as our daughter gleefully cycled along the bike path. Her headless body cycled on for a short distance before collapsing to the ground, as we discovered that someone had hung a string of razor-sharp wire across the path. I'd like to give a special thanks to As the Raven Dreams for helping me out with this video today. I got sick this week and was also having some mic problems, so he really helped me out of the jam. Thank you so much, Raven. Also, the story that Raven read, She Was Born in Love with Me, was written by another horror narrator, H.G. Gravy. Both Raven's and H.G. Gravy's links are down below, so please go check them out and subscribe. Now, tell me what you think. Did you enjoy these stories? What one was your favorite? Tell me in the comments. Hit that like button and make sure it feels it. If you're new, please subscribe and turn that pretty bell to all notifications. If you like something with my avatars on it, check out my merch. And if you want early access to the audio, check out my Patreon. Thank you for watching. That is always awesome. Sleep tight and don't let 42 bite.